feed the homeless. So this is where I've gone to get some food. I do have to be afraid that Molly may potentially be here, so I've got to record it. If she sees me and then goes and calls the police and says, oh, Sean was over at the church feed and he came over and tried to grope me and blah, 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 which she has threatened to do. She has already threatened to do that with Tom. She claimed that if he tried to leave her alone at camp, that he owed it to her to take care of her. She told him that he promised he was going to take care of her. And that if he leaves her, she'll pretend like he touched her inappropriately. I want to say this for Tom's benefit, all right? Despite the fact that he's a fucking moron who has created a lot of fucking issues for me by not, growing a petter, all right? Not being a man, as you say. You guys pretend that being a man is just taking the abuse. No, that's stupidity. That allows Molly to do this to others. That includes trying to incite people to commit felonies through these abusive situations. I have to be afraid that Molly will beat on my fucking vehicle. I have to be afraid that she will try to pop my tires. I have to be afraid that she will start rumors and claim things that didn't happen actually did. And I have to worry about her blackmailing Tom. And I have to worry about Tom, despite the fact that we have it recorded that he's just trying to fucking escape. Despite that we have it recorded that I am being abused for trying to help him. When a woman says shit like that, you have to be afraid. So we've got this 80-year-old man who's being abused by this woman. He has obviously come to me for help. He has been telling me about her actually physically abusing him. This is elder abuse. And he has to be afraid to turn her in because she'll pretend like he's some sort of fucking pervert. But no, Tom does not get to play victim at this point because we've got the recordings. We've got the recordings of Molly. We've got the recordings of him. We've got the recordings of the situation. We've got recordings with Scott and with Jason. We got recordings with Jared. We got recordings with Dallas. We got recordings with Luke. These are all verified witnesses. All people that were there the last time, just in one occasion of Molly doing this shit. Just one of these occasions. At least a dozen witnesses, including the cops and Tom, of course. What was she beating on my vehicle for? What is her excuse for harassing me every fucking time? Tom, you either need to be fucking clear with her and clear with the goddamn cops. Or you need to stay the hell away from me. Do not put your stuff by my shit if you're going to try fucking hiding from her, but you're not going to go to the fucking cops. I am not going to be victimized because you won't go to the cops. If a woman says I need help, I'm going to tell her the same thing. Are you going to go to the cops? Are you going to speak up on my YouTube channel so that it is public for everyone to hear, so that when I am victimized over this, that I can prove that I am victimized over this? When you decide that you're going to have battered women syndrome and go back because you're getting your parts touched, or when you're going to go back because you're going to be blackmailed by somebody who's going to pretend like you touched them wrong. No, Tom doesn't deserve the... Yes, he fucking does! You either stand up to these predators or they get to do it to others. Because Tom did not stand up to Molly, but I do. He came to me for help because he's got no balls. But because he's got no balls, and I tried to help him, I'm being abused. I'm the one who has to be afraid to go somewhere to eat. I'm the one who has to be afraid that if I don't record it, the cops will listen to her and fucking lock me up, especially knowing how badly they fucked up and that it is on YouTube. And no, they don't want people to know that they fucking treat us that way. Because I'm trying to turn it in and it's fucking obvious and I am sure they have been fucking informed. I have informed them. I've informed many people. What incentive do Tillamook Police Department and Tillamook Sheriff's Department, what incentive do they have for helping me? Obviously, I haven't had any issues with the Sheriff's Department yet. The state troopers, I've already had problems with the state troopers in Hood River and the Dalles. Sorry, not the Dalles. In the Dalles, I was supposed to try to turn it into a sergeant there, but I needed someone to go in with me. I went to all the places that you're supposed to go as a disabled person for that help. And I was victimized at those services. If there was someone who's pretending like they were going to help me, they would just simply have that person not show up and assign me to somebody who literally was not going to. Somebody who was going to bully me and threaten and harass me and then play fucking victim after doing everything that they could to intimidate, threaten, and fucking harass a goddamn victim who is in an emergency situation, is being abused, has evidence of it, and is trying to get help turning it in. Is going to mandated reporters to try to turn it in. They need to do something about the abuse against Tom. And because she is a repeat offender and a rampant offender, and because of the horrible things that she says trying to get us fucking killed, all right? That shit gets people fucking killed. I have had people threatening to fucking kill me for 7 goddamn years over something that didn't fucking happen. Many witnesses to the situation and to the aftermath. And just like Tom, if it's a dude, you pretend like he's touching you inappropriately or touching little kids, or you're afraid that he might. You're afraid that he might. Oh, poor me! Oh, poor me, this guy that I've been victimizing. Oh, he's after my vagina. No, it's fucking recorded on my YouTube channel, you dumb cunt. I'm doing the same thing with Molly that I was trying to do with Tim Beeson. That I was trying to do with Natalie Bollinger and Maddie Boa and Alicia Bollinger. I am trying to do the same thing with Molly that I have been trying to do about Waylon Lolatai and Clearview Behavioral Health. I am trying to do the same thing with Molly that I did in all of these other situations. Now I have the ability to record a lot of things. I did not have that ability before Natalie was fucking killed. Now I have the ability to take screenshots. I did not have that ability before Natalie was fucking killed. I have the ability to record these situations on YouTube. I did not have that ability before Natalie was fucking killed. I did not have the ability to show people across the internet before Natalie was killed. I had to copy and paste that email that Natalie had sent me in 2016 about her dad. I had to copy and paste it on December 12th of 2017 after over a year of fucking abuse. After call after call after call. And fake account after fake account after fake account. And I try to turn this shit in. But no, I'm a male and I'm broke. the cops don't have to do their fucking job. I get called mentally ill and magically it's okay. Well, mentally ill denotes that I am, in fact, just because of that label, incapable of defending myself against any and all allegations. I will not be allowed the right to do so. They will hold special court where nobody else is allowed in the room, like they did in Arapahoe County, where I'm only mentally ill when they want to prevent me from showing evidence. I'm only mentally ill when they want to allow my predators to introduce slander with zero fucking evidence. I literally, when I had to break the law in August of 2017, here's what I did. And I've admitted to all of this. I literally admitted to it the night that it happened. All right? I went and spoke with a woman. I was stranded in Colorado trying to run to the places where I was told I could get help. There was a young woman named Lexi Woods. She was a friend of mine and a witness to much of this situation. She can verify that Joanna Taylor Smith exists because she argued with Joanna Taylor Smith and feels that she is owed the other half of the money for that tattoo stuff that Joanna Taylor Smith bought for her for my birthday. The very same tattoo kit and equipment that is in my evidence and in the messages between me and Natalie. You can see that we were friends. You can see that these people exist if you only take a look. I suck at this technology shit. One person cannot defend themselves against thousands of predators. One person cannot do that when they are called mentally ill. That term, mentally ill, you get to see through all of this. My evidence shows I'm telling the truth. But the term mentally ill has prevented it from being shown in court. The term mentally ill was used by my own public pretenders when they broke the law, when they didn't want to do their job, when they wanted to blow it off, when they wanted to help, threaten, harass, intimidate me, and, of course, lie to me to get me to do things that were against my best interest or things that were against the law. Because if they convince me to break the law, then of course I'm not credible, I'm the criminal. If I'm backed into the corner to the point that I have to scream at them back, then now I'm the criminal. If they threaten to kill my loved ones and my loved ones are ending up fucking murdered, like Natalie Bollinger with a 9mm. She was killed only 2 weeks, just a little over 2 weeks after I exposed her father with her words. And she called them slander the very next day. Her own words. Of course, she could play that when it's just copy and paste, but you listen to that video. That video shows that I was speaking out about this before Natalie was killed. I was doing the right thing. I went to social media because all the things that you're taught to do as a kid, they fell through. All the things that I was taught that I hold dear. When somebody is abusing you, you do need help. We are taught that when we see somebody else being abused, that stopping that behavior prevents that predator from harming others over and over and over again. And they will. They'll get a big head about it like Waylon Lolotai did. Or like the people at Clearview Behavioral Health did. Or like Polly Olson did. Or like those two officers who killed Demetrius Shankling did. Or like Officer Burke did. These people all broke the law and committed crimes against me, and when you helped them to get away with it, and they got to see and hear what a great job that they did because they were fucking harming an innocent person, that reinforced their belief that it was okay to do these things, and they did it to others. after assaulting me, Waylon Lolatai, who already had a history of assault that should have barred him from employment as an officer anywhere in the country. Assault which should have landed him not in jail, but in prison, because the laws surrounding this require him to go to prison. And they require, because this is an inmate in their custody that he assaulted, it is required that they have a full investigation. But no, they let him go to another department and do it to more people. After assaulting me in Boulder County, along with many other officers, and we have witnesses on my channel, like George Helmstetter. He verified that the story I told about him and his girlfriend Star at court is true. He verified that at least one of the assaults was true. He verified that I was in the hole, and he verified the name Clint. Verified the name of one of the officers who was trying to harm me. He was hurting me hard. They did this repeatedly. They told me I could fill out the paperwork, the grievance paperwork, and I filled it out, and literally the very person that I wrote the grievance paperwork about came back. They all came into my cell and fucking assaulted the shit out of me in my cell on multiple occasions over shit like that. That's Boulder County, folks. I have to look over my shoulder for Molly everywhere I go, but I also have to look over my shoulder for anybody that she told these lies to and played sympathy, that she must be the victim because she turned on the tear jerkers, because she tried breaking into a building to get away from me. I have zero history of breaking into people's houses. I have zero history of breaking into buildings. Zero. My predators can literally, and I keep getting told by officers that the way the law is written, if somebody pretends that I want to hurt them, then I'm breaking the law. That's right, and we have that recorded repeatedly on my channel. Now, is that the exact words? No, it's whatever that person thinks. If they want to pretend like you would chop the head off their dog and force feed it to their children, their paranoia, their delusions are used to harm me. But me, with actual evidence that I actually do have to be afraid, that people have literally threatened to do those things to me. Obviously, I don't have kids or a dog. So that particular scenario is out the window for me. But yes, people have threatened to kill my pets, not knowing I don't have pets. They've threatened to kill my family, including my niece. Nieces, actually. I've got more than one. Now, Brittany, she wanted, there was a situation where her baby daddy, his name is Mark, I believe, as well. This guy's a fucking asshole. He got a hold of me to treat me like shit and give me the whole, oh, you need to man up, you're a fucking wine tip, blah, blah, blah. Look at the stuff that Brittany posts up. Does he take that shit out on her? Does he? No, he doesn't. So when he got a hold of me and was being an asshole to me, I didn't know who the fuck he was. I just knew he was some asshole being a prick. And I said some very not nice things back to him. But then, of course, I wasn't threatening to hurt anybody, not threatening to kill anybody, not doing anything of that fucking sort, which is actually what he was doing to me. So, I mean, here, he's in the fucking wrong. Come to find out, this is Brittany's, he's like 20 years older than her. This is her boyfriend. And she's got kids with him, and she gets a hold of me, and she's like, you know, these are my kids, and you are this, that, and the other with. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Brittany? Are you fucking kidding me? When you went missing, I spent days and days and days trying to help find you, and so did Nicole, your sister. because we actually gave a shit about you and you went fucking missing. Who is it that came down when we saw that you were in Jefferson County Jail? Who is it that came down and saw you in Jefferson County Jail? Was it your family or was it me? When I said those mean things to your baby daddy, it's because he was being a fucking dick. I'm going through hell, Brittany. I would not let you go through this hell. If you came to me and said, Sean, I'm being abused, I need you to speak up, I fucking would. I have. I have gone to bat for Brittany so many fucking times. And I'll do it again if need be. If she asks me for help, she'll fucking get it. But my predators in law enforcement are able to repeatedly threaten, harass, and intimidate myself and my witnesses. Repeatedly threaten and harass and intimidate myself and assault me on multiple occasions and send me on wild fucking goose chases to turn in my predators. Meanwhile, I was told by Tamara and quite a few others that if I jumped through these hoops for disability, that it would no longer be an option. That the police would have to do something about it. That they wouldn't be able to ignore it just because I'm a male. They wouldn't be able to ignore my disabilities just because they didn't want to do their jobs. It would be mandated, court mandated for them to do so. And they would have to record the situations. They would have to record the actual evidence. As it is, when you try to turn in those officers, and you are forced to go back to the officers that you are trying to turn in for the crimes that they have committed, and ask them to please investigate people who are threatening to kill you and your family. You want them to investigate? You want to send me to them to have them investigate themselves? You want to send me literally to Scott DaCosta to have me turn in Scott DaCosta for him to show up and assault me with a state trooper for trying to turn him in? You want to send me to Dual County Sheriff's Department, and in one night, over 30 calls, Dual County Sheriff's Department tells me they can't investigate themselves, so I have to call the Nebraska State Patrol, who, by the way, it is actually their job to do it, all right? It is actually the State Patrol's job to do this. They made zero effort until they'd already threatened, harassed, intimidated me, and taken part in an assault and refused to do their jobs. Multiple Nebraska State Patrolmen, including Bill Burr, including Investigator Woods, including Sergeant Jones, who I was told that I had to go to. I went to Troop E. Troop E told me I had to go to Troop C. Troop C told me I had to go to Troop F. Troop F told me I had to go to Troop C. I called Troop F back because C said, no, F is the right place. I called F, and Troop F tells me, no, you need to call Troop E. For over 2 fucking years. Over 2 years of that. Finally, I get the day that I made all of those calls. Yeah, when you tell me to do something to get help, this is where I'm supposed to go, that's where I go. Even though they've told me it's not their job, it's not their job, it's not their job, you're telling me to go. If I don't do what law enforcement tells me to do, then I'm the one who gets in trouble. But if I do what law enforcement tells me to do, I get in trouble. Nebraska State Patrol told me at least 15 times that it's not their job to police the police. That I had to go to Dual County Sheriff's Department. So, over 15 times, I've got calls into the Dual County Sheriff's Department where they tell me they can't investigate themselves. All they can do is send one of their deputies out. One of the deputies I'm trying to turn in. All they can do is send one of those deputies out or an ambulance. And they tell me they can't investigate themselves, that I have to go to the Nebraska State Patrol. So the reason there's 15 calls each way is because, well, I literally went back and forth. I called Nebraska State Patrol. They said call Dual County Sheriff's Department. I called Dual County Sheriff's Department. They said call Nebraska State Patrol. I called Nebraska State Patrol. They said call Dual County Sheriff's Department. Dual County Sheriff's Department tells me I got to call Nebraska State Patrol. Meanwhile, I'm being victimized by a Robert Franklin Warnick who's a Molly. Okay? I have to look over my corner or over my shoulder everywhere I fucking go for Robert Franklin goddamn Warnick. And I got to look over my fucking shoulder for Sandy Fromm. Yeah, that's fucking fun, isn't it? And then I got to look over my shoulder for people who I don't know who the hell they are. I recognize their faces. That's it. Every Chevy Silverado that drives by, yes, I fucking look. You goddamn right I look. I know that one of the people who keeps throwing shit at me and yelling profanities at me and flipping me off through his fucking windows. He drives a Chevy Silverado and he's an older dude with a fucking hat. But when you gotta try to turn in somebody who is potentially in the KKK, in KKK territory, where the cops don't do anything about the KKK, and very well may be a part of the KKK, and they do everything in their power. See, that's the thing. People wanted to complain because Waylon Lolatai in Colorado, he was allowed to leave Denver Police Department after assaulting a man and go to another department where he assaulted a bunch of other people. And they selectively ignored me when they were talking about the victims. Selectively pretended that I did not exist. But they were talking about how wrong it is that when an officer breaks the law and actually physically assaults people, he's allowed to go to another department. And then James Hammond, he's trying to run for sheriff. He's one of my predators as well. One of the things that he used in his campaign against Sheriff Scott DaCosta is that Scott DaCosta had over 20 deputies that worked under him. This is a town of 500 people, mind you. Only 2 towns in the whole county, and the biggest town is one with 500 people, Chapel, Nebraska. The county treasurer, any money that's going to be apportioned for things such as illegally incarcerating someone on false charges, it's got to go through the county clerk, Polly Olson. And city funds are going to be wasted on that too. So that has to go through her daughter, the city clerk, Ashley Bauer. She got married to one of my bullies from high school, a guy who actually turned out to be a pretty decent guy. By the way, thank you, Dylan Bauer. And we've had so many of the predators that I've told on in law enforcement and otherwise that are now sitting in prison or have been allowed to move on. Scott DaCosta allowed 20 of his deputies who committed crimes to help Scott DaCosta get away and their fellow deputies get away. And he did what it is that people wanted to complain about with Waylon Lolatai, not once, not twice, but with over 20 separate deputies. When I was told repeatedly I have to turn these things in to Scott DaCosta, I was trying, he would do nothing. I showed Mandy Singer that I went through all of the processes that you're supposed to go through, and I went to all of them alone and was blown off. I also showed her evidence of at least a dozen people who were threatened, who were afraid for their families. Afraid of law enforcement. Yes, after seeing that evidence, these parents who said, yeah, you know, me and my kids are tough, we can handle it. Nobody's going to do that to us. You're good, Sean. We got you covered. We got your back. And then, holy shit, Sean, you were right. They're threatening my kids. I got to bounce. I know. We've got several dozen people on my YouTube channel admitting to being threatened, harassed, intimidated, bullied, having their lives threatened. Why did I have to record those things instead of them going with me to turn them in? without them making the calls with me. If you're being victimized, and I'm being victimized over it, and I am cut off from resources over it, and you are afraid for your family, and you are afraid for your kids, and you can see that I am sacrificing every part of my life for you and your kids. Because I don't have a choice. My life is sacrificed anyway. I'm a homeless, disabled male. When it comes to the altar of freedom, I'm your scapegoat and your go-to. I'm the guy who's been through enough to understand it and to care about you and to actually do something effective instead of just assumptions. When you say, Sean, nobody will help me. I need help. I have kids and I help. But then when it comes to simply telling the truth, it's, I can't. Sean, I'm afraid. I have kids. I don't have time. I have kids. I need money, Sean. I can't do that stuff. I don't have the money. I have kids. Well, here's the money to do it. Here's the money. Specifically, that's what this money is for. I'm paying you the money for the gas to be able to do those things. You say that you are cleaning houses. You're cleaning houses for 3 hours a day per house. And that's what you're getting paid. And you're getting paid $10 an hour to do this. And you've only got one client. And you only clean once a week. You're trying to pick up more clients. Well, how about getting paid $20 an hour to look at fucking evidence and verify that it exists? Verify that I'm telling the truth. Instead, people took advantage of me. It's 3:26. The food starts over at the Church of the Nazarene in about 30 minutes. And that'll be both Saturday and Sunday here. I keep looking in my rear view mirrors in case Molly walks by. If she walks by and it's not recorded on my channel, she can pretend any manner and any number of things that she has already pretended, either with me or with others, including Tom. Just like Natalie Bollinger. Just like Alicia Bollinger. Just like Maddie Boa. Just like Rochelle Shelley Campbell. Just like Layla Johnson. Just like Kara Johnson Miles. Just like Cara Rogers, aka Cara Mia. And just like a whole plethora of police officers who get the special rights and privileges and bias that we afford to somebody who has a vagina, because apparently having a badge and being trained to murder homeless people makes you a female in the eyes of American bias. The laws and protocols are used to victimize the victims and exploit the disabled. It's against the law. It's against the law by the laws that these people passed themselves. The laws that these people are supposed to enforce themselves. That law, that's right, those laws. And they want to break those repeatedly. Knowingly and willingly. It is obvious that these people knew that these were crimes being committed against me. That these were actual crimes, not civil bullshit. When I was arrested, when I was falsely accused of such things. Just like Molly falsely accusing me of stealing stuff. Assaulting Tom and playing victim, assaulting my vehicle with me in it and playing victim, vandalizing more than once and playing victim, pretending like she's afraid I would tie her up and rape her. This is a common theme with female predators. They have all learned the 3 lies. Even the people in law enforcement and in the courts, even your own public pretender, doesn't want to do what they're supposed to do, what the law requires them to do, when it might potentially result in them having to stand up to women. That's right, one of these vermicious women like Molly, or like Alicia Bollinger, can get a lot of people up in arms and harming an innocent person. And none of these judges or police want to take a look at it. The reason for that is because they don't want their name associated. They don't want to be treated like they're assisting sexual predators and getting away with it. Or druggies with getting away with it. But then again, they did help sexual predators and druggies get away with it, didn't they? By not doing their jobs. I told you that because of police and their tactics, I needed someone to go in with me. I told you that the only people that I could get to do that were alcoholics and drug addicts. They were the only ones to care enough to actually offer to help the way that I needed. And also when I got there, you get to see the evidence those things are true. Why is there a video of Brett Roloff digging through his own feces on my YouTube channel? Because he's digging through his own feces for meth after telling me he was going to help me turn in this shit to the FBI. He was going to help turn in the fact that I did tell the truth about him and the situation with him and why I wouldn't go to visit him. It shows that I did reach out for help on multiple occasions afterwards. And it shows that I went and jumped through hoops and bent over backwards for all of these people. Because despite the fact that they're addicts, they're still people to me and I still love them. But they're addicts. And their drug of choice. And it's not a choice anymore. They're addicts. Their drug of choice is always going to be more important than I am. For some people, it's power and control. For some people, they're used to being talked down to, and when they got that badge and that gun, they swore to themselves they would never be talked down to again, and then they go and talk down to victims. And when those victims try to defend themselves against an onslaught, against police officers threatening and harassing and intimidating them, they're arrested on false charges and fucking assaulted. You have no idea how many times I've been assaulted by law enforcement since the death of Natalie Bollinger. And you know, now that I have James Hammond, one of my predators in law enforcement, who ran against Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta, and even James Hammond couldn't turn a blind eye to the fact that Scott DaCosta lost over 20 officers in a 5-year period. What was happening during that 5-year period that would warrant deputies under his control being released and going to other states? Or, like with the situation with Jared Hahn, I was trying to turn in Jared Hahn, and he prevented me repeatedly from turning in Jared Hahn. Repeatedly sent Deputy Jared Hahn to nearly every situation with me. When I was arrested and sent on bullshit from Scotts Bluff, yeah, the deputy who was working that night had to ask Jared Hahn, who should have already been in fucking jail or prison, actually. By that point, there were a lot of felonies. Jared Hahn should have been already in prison. But instead, the deputy, what did he do? He called up his supervisor. That's right, that's what he got as a reprimand when I tried to turn him in the first 30 times to Scott DaCosta. He got promoted to lead deputy. Finally, Scott DaCosta tries to insinuate and imply that Jared Hahn cannot be pursued. Mind you, I'm repeatedly told that I can't turn in these deputies. I have to turn them in to Scott DaCosta, who has, by this point, repeatedly refused to do the job. I've repeatedly told all of these people who are telling me to go back to Scott DaCosta, they're telling me to keep on doing this. These government agencies are doing what, well, is getting me screwed. They're telling me to go back to this place and do it. Go back to Scott DaCosta. Go back to Scott DaCosta. And then Scott DaCosta, I have to do what I'm told. These government agencies are telling me this is how I have to turn it in. And Scott DaCosta, well, he gets to pretend whatever the fuck he wants because it's his word versus mine in the courtroom. I don't have the assistance like my predators did. I don't have people who are interested enough in the case to sit down with it, look through it with me, and help me to fucking turn it in. Not once ever. Mandy Singer was the only one who made any actual effort towards that. A lot of other people, like Mandy Hughes, made promises, empty promises, over and over and over again. And no matter what, because I got the dick, I have to record everything. People don't like the fact that I record everything, but if you'd go in with me and turn this shit in instead of standing by and watching like a dumb cunt. See, that's the moral of the story with Jamie in Hood River. The difference between him hitting her even more times or beating the living fuck out of her in front of God and everybody while they just sit and watch was whether or not I fucking was loud enough to get his fucking attention and redirect it. Not gonna fucking happen. I'll take the fucking beating. You are not gonna fucking hit her again. I was gonna end this video, but I really can't. Now I'm in a park here. This is a skate park. There's kids and their families. There's also a few homeless people and their dogs. So I'm a lot safer here just because there are witnesses. If some KKK-ass popo come rolling up on me, not only am I recording it, but there's lots of other people around here who have cameras that may very well pull it out and record it as well, which is why police officers try to get you alone. All predators try to get you alone. Police officers spend 6 weeks learning how to be predators and how to be very good at their job and how to work together and coordinate with other predators to guarantee that they will get away with being predatory. I get told to go to these other law enforcement agencies, and I go to these other law enforcement agencies, and they get to press charges and pretend like I'm the bad guy for trying to get help stopping abuse. They pretend like I'm some sort of horrible criminal because I am calling the people I am told to call. I am following instructions. If I don't follow those instructions, then I get treated like I didn't try, like I'm making zero effort. If I do follow those instructions, I get treated like I am obstructing government operations. Meanwhile, who is it that obstructed government operations? That would be law enforcement, every step of the way. Law enforcement, pretending like they're Judge Dredd, and it is their right, that their badge gives them the right to be judge, jury, and executioner without ever looking at or collecting even a single shred of evidence. Using the excuse of I'm mentally ill as their excuse to never try. Using it's a civil matter as an excuse to me when they're refusing to try. No, I am an at-risk and disabled adult who is literally showing the abuse and why I am an at-risk adult. Why it is so easy to take advantage of me and to harm me, which includes the finances, which includes public opinion, which includes sexism and racism and classism, and your overwhelming need to have someone that you can victimize, someone that you can bully, someone you can take it out on because you have no balls in your own life. You can't stand up to your own predators because you're too much of a coward to do it alone, and nobody's helping you either. I will help you to turn those son of a bitches in, but you're busy taking their crimes out on me. How can I help anyone when I am being victimized as if I had done those things? Not one shred of evidence from Natalie or Alicia Bollinger to even suggest that I had ever touched either one of them inappropriately, especially not when they were underage. Matter of fact, their words alone are enough to show that I was not touching them inappropriately, that I was doing the right thing when they were underage, that I was trying to get them to not hang out down there and make things bad for all of us. The Wrecking Crew, they got 2 fucking jobs and 2 jobs only. Number 1, run off the pedophiles. Number 2, run off the kids. Because if the kids are there, people assume we're all pedophiles. That is the Wrecking Crew. You get to hear Ariana on my channel talking about the Wrecking Crew. You get to hear Desiree talking about the Wrecking Crew. You get to talk about a few people talking about the Wrecking Crew, including Christine Buhit. Several members of the Wrecking Crew I have rescued since Natalie's death, and many times before. Several members of the Wrecking Crew are fucking dead, like Stephen McMillian, a.k.a. Mobley, the Nature Boy. We've got Mobley and Christine Buhit, both sides of their argument over his penis size. They're both dead now. We got both sides of Christine Buhit and Ed Simmons recorded on my channel in their own voices. Christine Buhit's dead now. At least we recorded her voice. Rayanne Ingersoll, we recorded her voice. She's dead now too. Now I'm in the middle of KKK territory. Again. Standing up to the KKK. And other hate groups like BLM. And law enforcement. And me too. If you're going to look away from the other victims so that you can sell a false narrative, you're a predator yourself. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and there's no way around it. When I say I'm being abused, yes, many kinds of abuse. Physically abused, mentally abused, financially abused, and even several times since Natalie's death, sexually abused. But having to be afraid to turn it in. Being sexually abused by officers in the prison who had physically abused me on multiple occasions prior. To violently sexually abuse me. To literally tear and yank my clothes off of my body. To harm me for telling on them. And they did it as a group. When I told on them, they retaliated by giving other inmates special privileges if they'd take part. This is an awful lot of abuse. Just because one fucking heroin junkie was fucking embarrassed. Having to look over my shoulder everywhere I go because nobody fucking cared about my side. They wanted to pretend that they cared and tell me they're sorry, they love me. Oh, I'll help you in any way I can. You can fucking use your voice. Get on your YouTube right now and fucking speak. You can get on your Facebook right now and you can fucking speak. Speak up. You can get on the phone with me right now. We can make a fucking phone call. And when they try pulling this bullshit, you can speak. Speak up. Speak out. Your silence is violence. Your silence is compliance. I will not subscribe to a racist hate group like the KKK or BLM. I will not subscribe to a sexist hate group like, of course, the police nationwide and the Me Too movement. I will not subscribe to them. I do not consent to your negativity. I learned that from a friend named Brian Phoenix. Well, Brian Phoenix Priester is his name. He's from Boulder, Colorado. He's a homosexual black man who is disabled. I love him and I miss him. And from time to time, I even get a hold of him to let him know. I let Ariana know I miss her too. And I'm never sure what kind of a mood Ariana is in. So I never know whether to say him or her. But it's not them, they. It's one thing to have to change our pronouns so that we can make you happy. It's even more complicated when you can't decide which pronouns you want to be called. So if I don't call you the right pronoun because you can't remember which one, or because it changes so much that, yes, I'm a lot of people, especially in the LGBT community, they have an issue where they have changed something on their Facebook status or profile, and they feel that I wonder who's calling me. It's Tamsin. I can't actually answer her right now because I'm recording live, and if I end it, it won't allow me to answer that way either. So I have to let it ring through. This sucks. Obviously, I do have to end the video now. I do have to get a hold of her and let her know what's up. Obviously, this is not her fault. This is not something that is her fault. It's not something I can consider or construe as her fault. And due to the fact that I'm here for food and it's a safety issue, I'm going to have to let her know that. I probably should have let her know earlier, but since they're a few hours behind, I think she's like 2 hours difference in time zone. So if it's 1 o'clock here, it's 3 o'clock there. I thought she was going to get hold of me a lot earlier in the day and hoped so. But now I'm here for the food, and I'm in an area where it's going to take me a few to get away from this area to go to a place where I can actually do it. I have my stuff set up here. My phone is now charging. It's at 16%. Gotcha. Texas officer fired after shooting hamburger eating teen. Well, that's the America we live in, isn't it? I got it to work. All right, I let her know I'm stuck in public for an hour or so. I didn't mean to mislead her, and I did let her know that if I wasn't able to, I'd get a hold of her and let her know I wasn't able to. I didn't do that. I probably should have. But all this looking over my fucking shoulder everywhere I go. Having to look over my shoulder for police as well. A lot of people got a hold of me and told me about the police harassment. That's people who, were certified in the situation and could be verified, and people who were, being harassed at the very beginning. There's a lot of people more recently that their situation has changed. It's different from that. So I was able to send Tamsin a message letting her know that I'm going to be stuck in public for an hour. It's 3:50, so I'll head across the street to the church, get something to eat in about 10 minutes. This is the same church. I've never been in it, but this is the same church that I said I would go to on Sunday. It's Saturday, and they feed on Sunday too, so I'll go there on Sunday. I could probably go to the services at the Seventh-day Adventist instead, and then since I'll be going over to the Church of the Nazarene anyway, like I said I was gonna, I'll still be going. I guess it wouldn't be for the services, but, feeding us is a service. So there I'm playing on the technicalities of words, aren't I? I should probably, instead of playing on the technicalities of the words, go to the Church of the Nazarene tomorrow and actually see the services for myself as far as the actual Sunday services go. And I believe they start at 11. So we'll try to make it. There's probably a few people congregated over there by now, so I can walk over if there's a situation where there's somebody there doing something unpleasant. There'll be multiple people around who are witnesses. Not that they'll speak up. I do have a penis. But that's part of the reason for recording it as well. If you got 30 cowards willing to sit around and let a disabled woman like Jamie be abused, well, that ain't no good for nobody, and it shows why you have to record every situation, especially if you're a male, especially if you're homeless, especially if you're disabled. And if you got a combination of all three, you're fucked. Thank goodness the hobo feeds around here. Some of them give us cheese. Tillamook cheese. Made mostly, primarily, by Native Americans and KKK members, I would presume, based on the environment. Dear Tillamook, thank you for the cheese. Fuck you for the KKK. Why am I going to a church feed for an actual meal if I have cheese? Well, first of all, we got to pinch every penny we can out here. And a well-rounded meal is a far healthier option than just chunks of cheese. A lot of food that I have in here, I do have quite a bit of it. A lot of it's stuff I can't cook. It's dried beans, dried peas, stuff like that. Fuck. Don't stretch. Anyway, a lot of stuff on my channel now is going to end up being filler. As long as I can record what's going on, I'm gonna. And I'm going to try to keep the time filled in by talking and explaining a lot of the other stuff going on in my life and in the lives of others. Because, of course, no reason to waste that time. If I can speak, I absolutely will. I never know when I am going to be arrested on false charges or forced into a situation where my mere existence is illegal. Somehow. Alright, so the church is literally across the street, which means I have time to smoke a cigarette. I can remember where I fucking put them. We got a lot of predators on my channel that get on here to harass me. They think it's okay. You know, I've had people make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fake profiles to harass me, starting all the way back in 2016. Either the end of 2016 or the beginning of 2017. A lot of it goes into the spam file, and after 30 days, the spam file kicks it out. But not always. I destroyed a lot of evidence of people harassing me over the internet. Just simply because I didn't know that putting it in the category that I put it into, when people are threatening me, fucking fake goddamn accounts, yeah, I put it in spam. Or I put it in trash. Well, it doesn't hold it there, it just deletes it after 30 days. So everything that I had that I was able to take in and show the cops, as far as the harassment and threats and stuff, most of it, the stuff over the emails, was just within the last 30 days. The 30 days prior to Natalie getting her head blown off. The stuff with Tim Beeson, that was in Facebook Messenger. That's easy for anybody to get on there and read. It takes time to post this stuff all up on the internet, but it's the only way to do it when you don't have somebody to go in with you in person. And they're automatically going to take the word of, well, someone with a vagina. Especially if that person is young and pretty. They'll break the law for that person. Either they broke the law for that person, or they broke the law to prevent me from having access to those things. See, the things they were telling me that were illegal or they couldn't do for me, they did for all of my predators. And then they added on top of it felonies to help my predators. The evidence shows that they did work together. They did coordinate together to prevent me from turning them in. That I was repeatedly sent to the officers that I was trying to turn in. To turn those officers into. I had to turn in Officer Amanda Jonas to Officer Amanda Jonas. I had to turn in Officer Schneider to Officer Schneider. I had to turn in Scott DaCosta to Scott DaCosta. Those are 3 separate states. There is always a Molly. What I need is the ability and the right to defend myself against a Molly. If she starts physically assaulting me, all I can do is take the assault. And even if all I do is cover up, there is no guarantee that I won't be arrested. even with it recorded. I'm still the one arrested. When I was assaulted by Robert Franklin Warnick, I had to be afraid to go into the police to turn it in. I had to be afraid to go to Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta and his deputies like Sean Holloway and Jared Hahn. They tell you you have to go to the officer's supervisor. Well, what do you do when the officer's supervisor promotes them or helps them to get away with committing felonies against a disabled person? And then you keep making me go back. And then you arrest me for doing what you fucking told me. What the fuck? Joshua Rayborn assaulted me for doing what he told me to do. Nebraska State Patrolman assaulted me for what Nebraska State Patrolman told me to do. Scott DaCosta assaulted me for what it is that Dual County Sheriff's Department, dispatch, and himself told me to do. Repeatedly, over and over, and over and over, while Christopher Kurth gets away. While Robert Franklin Warnick gets away. The last assault by Robert Franklin Warnick, I had to be too afraid, of course, after everything that's gone on, to go in and turn it in. They had already assisted him in getting away with once. Matter of fact, Scott DaCosta, after assaulting me only a month earlier with State Patrol, me having to go to his department to try to turn in Robert Franklin Warnick for the first assault resulted in multiple predators I was trying to turn in, including Robert Franklin Warnick, Leslie Snell, former Denver Sheriff's Department Deputy William Barr, and of course, Sheriff Scott DaCosta. All of these people were involved in the threats, harassment, abuse, and misleading of not only the American public, but also the courts. I make sure I record everything so I can show what Molly is doing, or any of the other Mollys. How hard it is as a male to not get blown off, to not be told, oh, next Tuesday, next Thursday, next Saturday. Being homeless and forced into these situations and not having the resources to do it. And finally, they're going to help you on the day that you no longer have the resources. I don't think Murphy should be making any more laws. If you don't get the joke or the reference, it's not my fault you're a fucking uneducated individual. I understand that to stupid people, intelligent people sound like crazy people. To ignorant people who want to believe their own bullshit, their own assumptions, and what their granddaddy taught them, somebody who is actually educated and knows what the fuck they're talking about must be crazy, because that ain't what their granddaddy taught them. That don't fit their hate and bias. And then we got Southern Baptist Church. We got a bunch of KKK members, Southern Baptist churches, going and burning down Southern Baptist black churches, because they racist. But they racist in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Bless her heart. I know my shit, people. Maybe you should listen to the people who are living through it. Yes, we have verification that it is against the law for the police. They cannot diagnose me with a damn thing, especially not schizophrenia. But they pretend that I'm schizophrenic, and pretend that I'm delusional, and pretend that I'm on drugs, and magically everything that they did goes away. They destroy my credibility through slander. But then again, Natalie Bollinger and her family of fucking druggies and thieves and child molesters, they're credible, huh? It's been proven. And yet you still give them credibility where it is not due. These people are the people you pretend me to be. The evidence shows they are the predators you pretend me to be. And the evidence shows that the law is not the same for me as it is for my predators. The law is protecting and assisting and helping my predators through threats, harassment, and intimidation. That officer talking nice, didn't matter that he talked nice. The words that came out of his mouth let me know he was not to be trusted. That he was going to do everything in his power to ignore the abuse against me. And that's happened repeatedly. I had my cigarette. We're early for the food, so let's go get ourselves some food. I don't really need most of the stuff in my vehicle. Let's hope nobody fucking tries to steal anything, but you never know. I mean, that's the thing about being stuck out here. I can't fucking... This isn't like having my house, and I can lock up my house with a deadbolt and a couple extra locks on top of that. And I can be reasonably safe that my stuff is going to be okay. And if somebody breaks into my house, the cops might actually investigate. When it's a homeless person in a car, they don't give a fuck. They're not going to try shit. You can ask Clint Snell how he feels about Dual County Sheriff's Department and the situation that happened when his vehicle was stolen. There's recording on my channel with his brother, his blood brother, Carl Snell. Hell yes, I told you I recorded it. These guys want to pretend I'm crazy and pretend that this stuff doesn't exist. They've been trying to get it off the internet too, trying real hard. I get notifications all the time about these predators. Once they realize that the evidence, the things that they are claiming are slander, the things that literally came out of their mouths, are recorded coming out of their mouths, are on my channel recorded with their own voices saying it. So when they want to claim I'm slandering their name, they got to destroy evidence of the fact that they're the one that said it. They are. Yes, Kayla Trujillo wants her admission of being a drug dealer and selling to a lady who is now a police officer. Yeah, of course she wants that down. Of course she does. Oh, here's my headphones. So I'll put them in my man purse. That way, next time I need them, I can utilize them. Of course, with things not wanting to work, that's kind of difficult. Got to hide our electronics so nobody can see them. And that way they're less likely to get stolen. And we will try to find my tablet thing because it has multiple uses as well. I'm actually going to leave that in my car. I got to go pee. Alright, I am back. I managed not to piss on my own shoes. Now I misplaced my fucking cigarettes. But it's alright. I got a fucking tobacco pipe. I'll just try taking a rip off of it. That's not going to work because I don't know where my lighter is. And I'm constantly moving stuff around in my vehicle. Oh, I found a lighter I forgot I had. Badass. No, there wasn't much tobacco left in it. Fuck it. Let's see if maybe I put my tablet in my backpack instead of in my book bag or my man purse. I might have. It's plausible. Yep, right here. I just put it in the wrong bag. I know that people don't like being recorded. They don't want me to record it. They think it's a privacy violation or some crap like that. But the thing is, I'm being stalked, threatened, and harassed. Having my life threatened and having to jump through incredibly stupid hoops to avoid my fucking predator, which are repeatedly cutting me off from resources and assistance. I'm not going to risk it. If I am recording and she starts shit, it is recorded from the start of said shit. Alright. Good to go. If it's recorded live, then when people try to do fucked up bullshit, like, of course, it speaks from experience. Rollins Police Department, after committing all of the crimes that they had committed against me, and of course, they wanted to start off with threats, harassment, and intimidation. Later, an assault. Not much fun. There's not much I can do about it, can I? I've got the wrong gender. The actual predator, of course, we've got all the evidence that shows the actual predator was Ryan Ingersoll. The actual predator was, of course, Josh Rayborn. The actual predator was Amy Spencer, aka Amy Kalina Kingery. Alright, we'll put this away because unless I actually see her, I don't have any reason to actually be pointing this in the direction of any hobos. I feel like a liar. I was just saying I'd never been to this one before, but it didn't register to me that this, because when I came here last time, I came around that way with somebody else. I didn't recognize this was actually the Nazarene. Yeah, that's where it was last time, and they had some stuff on a table right there.
Something going on. I guess over here.
Sorry. I think the question is that.
I think I'm gonna grab one for that guy that talks to himself over at the park too. There is. This guy was just released from prison a few days ago, so.
Thank you. Have a good day. Hi. How many? Oh, one of each. Shall I send me? Okay. How many?
Mr. Larry,
How you doing, man?
did I get your name right?
Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Can't
good.
remember your name.
It's Sean, and I'm terrible with names.
Right. Yeah, me too. It's from being in a car accident.
Me, it's from meeting too many people.
Put me out of work.
I've been hit in the head a lot, but that's not what affects my memory. What affects my memory is when you're stuck in one area, and the only people whose names you got to remember is the 5 people who live in your house. It's pretty easy. It's only 5 names.
Yeah.
When you get out on the homeless community, you're going to meet 30 new homeless people a month.
Sean.
Yep.
Nice seeing you, man. I'm gonna go get some water.
You too, Larry. Still breathing, thank goodness. Well, some days. I like your mask.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So much.
Almost everybody in the line looks to be about 65 or older.
It's not.
We sure don't take care of our elderly out here, do we?
I don't know. I mean, depends if you know the right people. They do.
That's true. Right connections or grew up in the area or whatever.
Take care, Sean.
You too, Larry. Bonjour.
Hello there. How's everybody doing? Good. How are you? Good. All right.
I'm still glad you didn't get beat up for something you didn't do.
Yeah, I am too.
What? Whatever.
we had a little problem with one of a person that I know. Calling me to be a sex offender and stuff.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ass?
No.
I will.
He's not worth it.
I will. Jim, I'll list him out for you, bro. Quicker than hell. You know I will.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you will.
All right, my man.
I'll let you know.
All right, hell yeah. I got you.
Communication and coordination.
Right.
Safety in numbers.
Yeah.
My name is Sean, by the way.
Michael.
Good to meet you, Michael.
Nice to meet you, brother.
I think I've seen you before. And I'm Rick. I'm Rick Catfield. And your name would be? Oh, hi, James.
Hi, how are you? How many? Two salads. What sour cream is it? Here you go. What did you? How many?
Two.
Two salad and two main course?
Yeah.
Do you want salad?
Just one salad. I'm getting one for me and one for somebody else. I don't care what it is and one for somebody else. The one for me, just no
So you just
salad.
want no salad? Do you want a salad?
No salad for me. He
Oh,
can have
okay.
I'm
salad.
thinking I better go
He's
get
got
some.
teeth. I don't.
You want sauce and sour cream for your potato?
Yes, please.
Sorry.
Classic ranch. Blue cheese. Thousand Island.
You have to have, oh, did you want a salad?
I wanted to get a meal for me and a meal for somebody else. I don't have teeth, so I can't eat a salad, but he can.
Okay, so you need another meal and one salad.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
he's getting her. So one meal. Do you want sour cream and salsa in it?
Sure.
Okay,
If you don't like it, I'll eat it.
that works.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get some soda?
Oh, absolutely. How many do you need? Is that all you want?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You're the one doing us a favor.
We enjoy doing it.
Thank you.
Well, I enjoy eating it.
Salad and then
Thank you.
what sour cream and salsa? Okay. How many salsa?
All right. Do you mind if I take the garbage here? Because the garbage can is just right there. Well, thank you.
I'm easy. Here, I'll take it.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you very much. Don't die. All right, so went to the feed and got some food. I'm back over at Lillian A. Goodspeed Park. There's some youngins, of course. They all look underage to me. They all look like they're high school students. They're less than 30 feet from my car. Ah, fucking motherfucker. We'll see if that'll shut now. Much better. And I didn't lie. I have no teeth. Eating a salad is not easy. It's easier to eat a steak than it is to eat a leaf of lettuce. Oh, Anyway, them youngins are just chilling, hanging out, smoking pot. Like maybe 60 feet away from the furthest parked vehicle in the parking lot. It's just a little more liberal, or at least what they would call liberal, than I would expect out of a KKK town. Anyway, I don't know if Molly will show up for the food. If she does, It's on the other side of the building from where I'm at. I've seen Tom without her and her without Tom every time I've seen either one of them since the last incident. So hopefully she's not going to be coming in on my vehicle anytime soon over Tom. Hopefully he set some fucking boundaries with her. Because I'm tired of this shit. See, here's the thing about denying a man an honest day in court. Denying him the right to face his accusers. Denying him the right to have a police report turned in and investigated. Sending him on a wild fucking goose chase. Every one of his predators gets to prey on that. Every fucking one of them. Every person who ever victimized them in the past gets to go, oh, look, well, see, blah, blah, blah. I can't be the bad guy because, look, see. Don't deny me my fucking rights, motherfucker. I'll do more than just speak up. I will fight like a motherfucker to get this shit into court. And I have. I have been, and I will continue to do so. I said before, and I will say it again. If you want to shut me up, you're going to have to fucking kill me, bitch. Trying to get a change of venue. Because there's no way I was going to get an honest day in court in Chapel, Nebraska. Not with the situation with my predators being elevated to greater positions within Chapel society, like Jared Hahn. After all the bullshit he pulled, now he's a city council member. I wonder who won the election between James Hammond and, of course, Scott DaCosta. It doesn't really matter. Both of them were my predators. Both of them chose to be predatory towards me and to do everything they could, make every excuse that they could, and invent magic protocols so they could ignore any and all evidence, destroy any and all evidence, and prevent me from having access to any and all evidence. To prevent me from having access to call the people that I needed to call. To prevent me from having access to my funds and my friends. To prevent me from having access to my autism advocate. The whole time I was in prison, they prevented me from having my autism advocate on my call list. The whole time that I was locked up in prison on false charges that I was never convicted of and weren't even felonies. And while I was incarcerated on false charges, I was prevented from going to civil court dates. My predators in those civil court dates knew that I was locked up on false charges, knew that I was trying to turn them in, and had me locked up to prevent me from turning them in. My predators work together. What are you guys doing? Watching? Fucking? Getting drunk? Snorting coke? Shooting heroin? What the fuck are you doing to stop the abuse? You're telling me you're fucking sorry. That's more than just pathetic. The evidence shows that I'm obviously the victim here. But of course, we live in a sexist society. Yes, we have DV services that are now supposedly for both men and women. We've seen how that works. Make no mistakes whatsoever about the situation. Me Too is a hate group, just like the KKK. BLM is a hate group, just like the KKK. I get called N-word lover by racist peoples in Nebraska and elsewhere because I stick up for the rights of black people because they're human too. Then I get called racist for sticking up for the rights of black people, or sorry, for sticking up for the rights of white people because white people are also people. The police, the KKK, BLM, and Me Too all sell false narratives and victimize victims who don't fall under their narrative for speaking up. All of them lie to the public, and all of them victimize the homeless. All of them. And apparently them youngins don't know their limits because they're all sitting in a skate park in a vegetative state. People keep trying to get me to pretend that the part with the cops in these situations didn't exist, or they can't listen to the part with the cops. They can only hear the parts about civilians abusing me. Even if there was a police officer and a civilian there, both at the same time abusing me, I'm not allowed to bring up the cop. How is it that I'm supposed to get an honest day in court when everybody throughout this wants me to cut out evidence? They want me to cut holes out of my story, entire parts of what happened. Hundreds of people who fucked me over by doing wrong things. And there's quite a few of them who said if I remove evidence of their wrong things, they'll help me. Too fucking late, bitch. Too fucking late. Let's say 200 people screwed me over and their evidence is on YouTube that they did exactly that. And all 200 of those people promised to help me as long as I'll keep their secrets and take that part of the story out. Pretend that they weren't involved where they were. And of course, not try to show or introduce any of that evidence during those periods of time. Well, that's the same as letting everybody get away with it scot-free, and of course, I still take the evidence, or I still take the abuse. The thing is that they need to admit that those situations existed, that they did happen. And some people say, oh, well, I did admit it, it's on your YouTube channel. That's right. And I had to record you without your permission. Because what happens if I record you and you know about it? You fucking lie. You're dishonest. All right. I'm glad that works now. That was Tamsin trying to get a hold of me. I was letting her know I was just finishing up eating. So, I guess I better finish up eating. Well, there's them youngins poking their snot again. Alright, I'm going to shut this off for just a couple of minutes. And, well, you know how we end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Be ever vigilant.